Hey there, folks. Good evening. I hope everybody's having a good night. Well, some of you, it may be morning, but for those of you on this side of the world, good evening. I definitely want to welcome everybody here tonight to a GCN call. My name is James Ward. As most of you know, there might be a few new people on here tonight, but excited to be out here to give you some updates on where things are at with our system. We're also going to be talking about the new auctions that are coming as well, and just talk about, a couple different things. So with that being said, if you're just jumping on here, I'd love to personally welcome you. We've already got a few people logging in here. We got Tom from Iona. We got Gary from the middle of nowhere. We got Mike from Milwaukee. Gossett, welcome. We got Mark from Indiana. Welcome. Gossett from Connecticut. All right. Thank you, Gossett. David from Vegas. Folks, if you're just jumping on here, we do want to welcome you here tonight. This isn't going to be that long of a call, but I think it's going to be pretty informational to help with everything. So Craig from New York, welcome. Tom from Tampa, welcome as well. Michael from Russellville, man, I've been to Russellville so many times with a lot of different sports in high school and stuff like that. So welcome, Michael from Russellville. All right, folks. Well, we're going to go ahead and get this thing rocking and rolling here. Come see you. Yeah, man. I haven't been back to Arkansas in a couple of years. I need to go for sure. So I want to welcome everybody here tonight. Very excited to be here. As most of you know, we've had some great things that are going on this week. I had a call last night. Unfortunately, I was like 5 minutes late to it because I had to restart my internet. Literally, as I hit the start button, it just kept going. So at first I thought it was Zoom, and come to find out I needed to restart my modem. So I have to take responsibility for that. But anyway, we got it going. A few of you stuck around, so I appreciate you doing that. We sent out the recording. As many of you know, we obviously had a big update call on Saturday on where things are at with our company. We talked about a lot of different things. And so tonight, I just want to give you an update from Saturday's call. We're going to talk about some other exciting things that are going on right this very second. And as we head into next week, where we expect things to be, so you guys will have a complete understanding and you can share it with your team, right? So this is being recorded as well. Now, as you guys know, on Saturday, we talked about the current payment system, how we've halted that to make sure that the programmers can get everything they need in order to move forward. So as we talked about on Saturday as well, we said it was going to be anywhere between Wednesday and Friday. So just as an update, so we're not over promising here, what we're going to be looking at is Friday. And Friday, we're going to run commissions just as we normally run commissions at night. They'll pay the next day on Saturday. And we should be back on track. I mean, that's the good news, right? We should be able to get back to that consistency. We have to give the programmers the ample amount of time. So we're going to continue to test, make sure things are working exactly the way that they should, so we can move forward. You know, the last thing we want to do is launch prematurely. I say launch, I mean, it's not a launch. We just don't want to get started back again here and do it prematurely where we're having to get on another call like this and apologize and things like that, right? Our goal is to make sure that the consistency happens inside of our company, so you can have the faith that every single time someone new comes into our company, you know they're not going to have to deal with any type of issues regarding the system. They're going to be paid on time. All those things that are important to grow your business, they're going to be there. Now, in addition to all that stuff, right, we also had a tremendous amount of customer support tickets that came through, whether it be regarding balances or anything like that. So our customer support, I sent this out today in an email. We're going to be wiping out every single customer support ticket that is in our system. Now, there's some of you be like, what? I've sent like 500 of them. Well, that's part of the problem, right? So here's what we're going to do. We're going to be wiping those out. I would ask you all to wait until Saturday. I mean, if there's something with your account that doesn't have to do with, balances or anything like that, just wait till Friday or Saturday to be able to send another customer support. I mean, if you need help with like your password or something like that, obviously we're going to be there to help you. But I'm just saying, if it's something related to the system, if you can give our team a break, make sure that we get everything cleared out there, and then we will get you right back on track come Saturday. So we have already cleared all those out. So if you did get an email saying, hey, your ticket's closed, it's not because we don't care about you. It's because we want to give our system the opportunity to fix it, number one. And number two, we wanted to make sure that we can give you the best customer support possible. So the only way that that can happen is to make sure that you're only submitting one support ticket for any issue that you have, okay? So if you're coming to the chat and you're dropping support tickets and then you're dropping more support tickets, it doesn't do anything but hurt everybody, all right? So just have respect for that process And you guys know this. I mean, the one thing that I got the overwhelming echoing on Saturday was people love our support. They love what they're doing. And I'm really proud of them as well. So we're going to do the best that we can. And as we said, we are beefing that up, which kind of leads me to my next subject. And then we're going to get to, some of the auctions and some of the awesome things that we're doing right this very second. As many of you know, maybe you don't, I actually come from a financial background, right? I managed money for over a decade before I ever got into this industry. And I was on the equities, the options, the derivatives. So like the stock market, right? I mean, that's really what I dealt with on an everyday basis. And, the one thing that we learn inside of that industry is, number one, no one knows what's going to happen, right? Everybody is an expert. Everybody has an opinion. And they get paid a lot of money to have opinions, not only on the equity markets, but now we've moved into a whole new realm of things with the Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency markets. Just like in Wall Street, now there's people that are paid for their advice on cryptocurrency. And I still have the same exact philosophy as I had back then. No one knows. I don't care what they tell you. I don't care how big of a blockchain expert they say they are. Nobody knows what's really going to happen. But what we do know is that there is a solid foundation inside of the Bitcoin market or the cryptocurrency market. We know that, right? We know we're not going to wake up tomorrow and it's going to be at zero. And that was always the fear. But what we don't know is, hey, with the new halving that's going to be coming up in May, is it going to shoot it straight up? Is it going to increase it? Now, some people are going to say it's going to increase no matter what. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not. I'm here to tell you that I don't think anyone necessarily knows, regardless of what they say. But here's what I do know, okay? When you look at history, and I'm just going to reflect back on the stock market for a second, not that we're in any type of investment, but I look at opportunity and I look at risk, right? And when I look at the stock market, as I've said before, there were a few key dates in history that things got really, really bad. Like, I mean, as early as like 1907, the banking system failed. JP Morgan came in and helped save the day. In 1913, they created the Federal Reserve, which allowed us to protect things from an interest rate perspective. But in the 1920s, right, 1929, we had a huge crash. I don't know if you guys have done some history on that, but the stock market absolutely crashed, and right, it happened over a 3-day period. There were a lot of people that unfortunately they killed themselves. They had to sell off everything that they owned. Everything was devastated, which led to the Great Depression, right? And during that time, and take it even a few decades further, like in the 80s and 87, there was a huge crash. And then back when I was actually getting out of the business in 2008, 2009, there was another huge crash, and that was driven by the real estate market and the banks that were lending money to people who shouldn't have received it. I bet some of you lost some money in the real estate market. But here's the deal. If you look at every single one of those times in history, I mean, let's just look at the most recent in 2008, 2009. And by the way, I know if you're not in the US, like maybe you can relate to this, maybe you can't, but I know that this current economy in 2008, 2009, it affected the entire world, just as the 1920s did and the 1987. Hong Kong's market dropped like 47% right after the crash in 87. So there's a lot of things that link up internationally. Even if you're not here in the US, you can get the message that I'm telling you. In these times of complete chaos, in these times of where there were blood in the street, as they say, when people were getting margin calls and loans due, and they were having to liquidate everything they had, and stocks were going to zeros, and companies were going out of business. In 2008, 2009, Lehman Brothers went out. There were huge companies that have been around since, over 100 years that were going out of business. There were people that were losing their homes left and right. The government had to come out and bail out the banks, right? And I was right in the midst of this. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because I had a lot of friends and a lot of family members that were involved in a lot of different parts of real estate around the world. Just like you, I knew a lot of different people, and I remember some friends even in Vegas, like I can't remember what the percentage is, but like 70% of people were like in foreclosure at that point, right? So things were going insane, right? Everybody's in foreclosure. The banks are getting bailed out by the government. They're trying to figure it out. Huge companies are getting eaten up by other companies because they can't even make it to pay the next day. And what it proposed for those that were prepared was opportunity. Those that did not panic, those that did not freak out, those that decided to stay calm and stay the course and believe and have faith in the process that we were going to make it through, that the system that we created, even though it failed, it was going to make it through because they could see the vision, right? I don't think any of you thought back in 2008 through 2009 that even though people were losing their houses and the banks were getting bailed out, I don't think any of you sat there and thought, wow, it's all over. The US dollar is done. We're never going to be able to spend this money again. We're all going to it's going to be phantom. I don't think anyone probably thought that. What you probably thought is, look, it's a challenging time. People are struggling. There's a lot of bad things going on. But what I know for a fact is that the US is going to pull through, and you had faith in that, right? And again, if you're an international member, I'm just kind of giving you it from our perspective. I'm sure you have your own version of history and many different things that happened in your country. But when I look at that, and I look at that business that I was in, and I looked at so many people that I knew that were affected by it, what I saw is I saw people that either panicked, people that stayed and held the course and waited for things to work out in order for things to get back to where they needed to be. And it took some time. And then I saw the opportunists, right? I saw the people that were going out there that had some liquidity, that were picking up, properties for pennies on the dollar, that were buying stocks that had dropped, 50, 60, 70%. Bank stocks had dropped like 79% in 2008, 2009. We're talking huge banks. So the opportunities were there. We're talking about massive, massive organizations that their stock drops 70, 80%, and then the government comes and bails them out. But look at where we're at today in the current economy. Look at where the market is today, and we're talking 10 years later, and look at the people that decided to buy some of those properties for pennies on the dollars. Look at the people that decided to buy those bank stocks for pennies on the dollars, and the opportunity that's been created in the market. Now, what made me think of all this is that the stock market over the last 2 days has just gotten hammered. And I got to be honest, I'm not a real student of the stock market anymore. I pay a little bit of attention to it, but a lot of my focus is more in the crypto space and obviously running this company. But I think that you can learn lessons from history. And one of the lessons that has to be learned is the fact that in tough times and chaotic times, the opportunity presents itself to those who are willing to take the risk to move forward. And that's the reality. Okay. That is the reality. Yeah. Linda, you got it. You're talking about the stock market's been crashing because of the virus that's affecting everyone worldwide, right? That is a worldwide epidemic, and there's fear in the lives of everybody. So it doesn't matter if you're in the US or if you're in China, or I saw Italy's having a lot of issues. Right now, there's chaos, right? People are going crazy. For those of you who travel like I do at all, I'm sure your spouses or whoever maybe your parents are saying, hey, don't get on that plane, don't go. So you have a choice right now, right? To buy into the status quo and to stay exactly where you're at. And hey, I get it, by the way, you're taking a risk. Anytime you do anything, you're taking a risk. But I also see things as opportunities, right? And right now in the current market that we're in the current state of GCN and where we're at, if you can see anything, I hope you can see through the chaos to see the opportunity that you have here to be part of a company that is built for the long term. One thing I talked about on Saturday was the infrastructure of our company, right? How we are designing this to make sure that, hey, I have some help here at the helm to make sure that we're moving things where they need to be. We're beefing up customer support. We're creating a project management team. I'm getting an interim president. Now, why am I doing that? Because I want to surround myself with people that are better than me at different things that can help me in a time that there is a huge opportunity here, right? Because we haven't even began to sniff into the international markets, right? We haven't even really stepped foot in that. We're just breaking into Latin America. Asia's wide open, Europe, so many different opportunities for us right now. And, my mom, one thing that she said to me all the time when I was growing up is, hey, God's never early, he's never late, and he's on time. And regardless of what your beliefs are, okay, that has nothing to do with it. The point of that statement is, look, it happens when it's supposed to happen. My belief is that we're in this position right now. We're in an amazing position right now as a company to move forward. And it didn't happen the way I wanted it to. And let me just tell you something. Nothing that I've ever been part of that's been successful in my life has happened right when I wanted it to. And I bet that the same is true for you. But what we have right now is such a head start with the foundation that we've created in this company. And as we continue to grow and get better, it's going to get more and more. Now, that leads me to the last part I want to talk about here tonight, which are the products and the services that we currently offer inside of our company and where we're going to be headed. Okay. Now, as many of you know, we gave away a Camaro just 2.5, 3 weeks ago. I don't know when it was. Well, I say gave away, someone won it on our auctions. That's a better way to put it. I know Mike's on here. Mike, you won the Range Rover just last week. Congratulations. And a lot of the content that I've put out over the last few days on the auctions and, you know, the Range Rover and the Camaro have been like, hey, man, you know, a lot of you missed it, right? A lot of you missed the opportunity because you sit there and you watched, right? You didn't take action. One thing I know as an entrepreneur is that imperfect action is always better than no action at all. There's oftentimes that I make wrong decisions, and I get that question all the time, you know, as an owner, like, hey, why didn't you do that before? Well, hey, why didn't anyone do anything before, right? It wasn't the time to do it in your mind, or it didn't make sense at that point in time, but you moved forward. So there's some of you that watch that auction countdown and you sat there and you were like, oh my gosh, when it came Sunday morning and it went off, you could not believe that you missed it. Some of you bought tokens or credits, specifically for that auction, right? And you didn't even bid on it. And I get it, right? That's frustrating. But the one thing that I've learned over the last two, what I would consider our big auctions, okay, the Camaro and the Range Rover and many, many more that we're going to be creating, is that this can work. Like from a company standpoint, the number one question I got is, well, James, you guys really took a bath on the Range Rover, right? It didn't make money. Do you understand that as a company, we make money selling credits? We don't make money necessarily on people bidding. Hopefully you get that, right? Our revenue comes from when credits are purchased, not when credits are actually spent. So just keep that in mind when you say, hey, did they make money or not on a product? It doesn't necessarily work like that. I know a lot of people think they have the math worked out, but they think they have a portion of the math worked out. They don't really know the entire story. What I can tell you is our auctions are a profitable business for us as a company, right? And what's exciting about that is it allows us to take things to a new level. We've got a team now that are helping us with the auctions, not only from a social media standpoint, but also to make sure that they're congruent, that they're up and they're there on time, right? To make sure that there's rookie auctions, to make sure there's no reserve auctions. And as we build into some of these bigger auctions, think of the marketing that we can do around this. So, you know, we've given you a little taste of this this week. We have a website that's been created for the new Atlantis auction that we're going to be putting out. For those of you who didn't make it to the call yesterday, I want to talk just really briefly about the Atlantis. I won't spend a lot of time on it because I know some of you got to hear it. The Atlantis to me is like, I don't even know how to put it. It's like one of the best memories that I can think of my kids, right? My kids are 14 and 18 now. And when I think about them when they were younger, like 12 and 8, and even younger than that, when we went to the Atlantis, it brings back a tremendous amount of memories. And the first time, here's a really cool story. The very first time we ever went to the Atlantis, we got there a little bit late. So it was like 3:30 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. We checked into our room and we immediately, my girls were small at this point. I can't remember their exact ages, but you know, I think my youngest was like 6. Okay. So we'll put it somewhere in that category. So we go out to the beach, just the 4 of us. And when we get out to this amazing beach, and I'm talking, if you haven't been there, at least go online and look at the pictures. It is like magical, right? It's like God just like threw it magic right on this beach. It's beautiful. And here's what was super cool. We were the only 4 people on that entire beach at 5:30 in the afternoon. The sun was about to set. It was the 4 of us. And we have pictures of, you know, me and my girls walking and holding hands, not even knowing my wife's taking pictures, and, you know, just messing around in the water. We had this entire beautiful beach to ourselves, this private beach at the Atlantis. Now, the one thing we didn't realize is everyone kind of wraps up shop around 4 or 5 at the Atlantis and heads up so they can get ready for the awesome entertainment that they have at night. We didn't know that, you know, it was our first time. Now, the reason why I share that memory for you is, or with you, is because I want you to be able to create your own, right? One of the products that we are moving into and towards is the travel industry. As many as you know, I've talked about this many times. I've been part of that industry for a long time. I have access to some amazing things that we're going to be sharing with you. We'll be rolling that out. But the truth is we want to make sure everything was good on our programming side before we even promote that. I mean, I know the new video has it. But before we introduce it as an actual product, give you the pricing and everything like that, we want to make sure things are in order. Okay, so that will be coming, but specific to the auction, okay, we are going to be launching this. I'm just going to share this with you just really quick, just in case you haven't seen this. We're going to be rolling out this auction here for the Atlantis. Now, here's a couple things about the Atlantis that you may not know. Number one, I got to admit, it's pretty expensive, okay? Not only to go there is it super expensive, the food is expensive, the drinks are expensive. The excursions aren't as bad as you would think, but there are a lot of expenses that go into it. So when we created this auction, the one thing I said is, look, if we're going to create this for someone, we have to create an opportunity that's going to be a dream trip. That's something that everybody's going to definitely want and to be part of. So what we're doing with the Atlantis is a 7-night all-inclusive vacation, even though they're not an all-inclusive resort, right? It's not like going to a resort in Mexico where we can just buy the all-inclusive package. No, we are going to be doing a lot of different things. So let me just scroll down here and let you see here. Number one, we got this 5-star resort. Can everybody see my screen? Let me make sure, because I did this last night and I was sitting there talking to myself. Can everybody give me a number one that you can see my screen? Because I would hate to be going down this road again. All right, awesome. Okay, fantastic. Hey, Katie, I saw that. You said you've been. It's expensive and it's awesome. You are right there. Yeah, that is definitely right. Okay, thank you all for sharing that. The Atlantis is incredible. You're right, Gary. So what we're looking at here is a 7-night all-inclusive 5-star resort. If you haven't checked it out, like go look at the video on the front of this page. Number one, you're going to want to be there right now. We're going to give you an Atlantis meal plan, which is going to be huge for you and your family. And as I said, in case you didn't see the video last night, I think, don't quote me on it, but I think if your kids are under 11, they eat for free, right? So, you know, maybe if you're 2 adults and have 2 or 3 kids, I think your kids get to eat for free if they're under 11, just FYI. So we're going to do a meal plan for 2, you know, but we're obviously absorbing a lot of that cost. We're going to do 2 round trip tickets for up to $2,000. Now, depending on where you're coming from, almost anywhere in the U.S., you can probably fly for first class for that amount, $1,000 ticket, I'm guessing. If there's a family of 4 and maybe you want to do, you know, we're going to pay up to $2,000. So maybe it's $500 a ticket or $600 a ticket. You have a little bit extra there. We can work that out. We'll work that with you, okay? $1,500 in spending money. So, you know, whether you spend that at the casino and put it on black or red, I'm just kidding. Or maybe you're paying for your drinks or helping, you know, your family with some excursions. Whatever you want to do with it, you're going to be able to do. We're also going to give you the dolphin experience. I wish I would have gotten some pictures. My family and I, we swam with the dolphins, I think 2 different times. It's super cool. Like if you have kids, it's amazing. Even if you don't, we've also done the stingray thing, which is really cool because you actually get to swim with the stingrays and pet them, which is very, very awesome. So there's a lot to do there. There's the kids club, you know, that are for little kids. There's a culinary school. There's so many things for your kids that you can do. But even if you don't have kids, I'm telling you, if it's just you and your spouse, it is a vacation like no other. Okay, the entertainment, the food, the experience is absolutely awesome. So obviously, you know, you can probably tell by my voice and the fact that I've done this back-to-back days that this is something that's exciting, right? It's something that I get fired up about because I cannot wait. I wish, you know, like I'm going to be delivering the Range Rover to Mike, whether it be at his house or maybe the next event. We're working on that, but I really wish I could go to Atlantis with you. What I wish. I know I can't, but that's what I wish because it is such an awesome thing. So with that being said, listen, I don't want to take a lot of time here tonight, but I do want to make an offer that I made to you last night. Right now and through the 28th, we're offering 100% match on your credits. I know some of you look at this and be like, my God, that's a sales pitch. I mean, how many times are you going to pitch us on the same sell? Well, here's what I would tell you. I'm going to pitch you until you wake up. Okay. There's some of you that are not awake to what's really going on here. Okay. If you're looking at this as just like, hey, what I can do with the credits here today, that's where you're missing the boat. What I want to propose to you and what I want you to have clarity on is that these auctions are going to continue to get better. Our GOWs are going to continue to be there. Our travel product, which will be coming soon, you're going to be able to use some of your credits for. So what I'm trying to position you for those of you who have had faith in our company and believe in where we're going, I'm trying to position you and give you a head start on everybody else out there. That's what I'm trying to do. Okay. Now, whether you take it like that, I truly don't care. That's up to you. But I'm putting it out there for you. So I'm going to put the same offer out here tonight that I did last night, because last night, I think there were only like 15, 20 people on the call because I messed it up. Okay. So here's the deal. Anyone who buys credits right now, which is 8:25 my time, all the way until midnight Pacific Standard Time. So over the next 5.5 hours, we're going to give you 150% match. Okay. 150% match. I will let the customer support team know. You will need to submit a support ticket for that and say, hey, I purchased credits. I need the 150% match, and they will post that for you. So if you buy 100 credits, you get 250, right? You buy 1,000, you get 2,500. Are you kidding me? I mean, that is some serious ammunition that helps you be able to compete for things just like this. But here's the most important thing. And let me just ask, before I even get any further, let me ask you guys, if you had opportunities like this one right here, right? Amazing dream trip opportunities every single week that you could promote for your business in our auctions. Do you think that would be something that would help you from a promotion standpoint? Just give me a number 5. Like, if you think that would be cool, like you could go to people and say, look, every single week, this company comes out with trips that are out of this world, Alaskan cruises. I'm talking like whatever it is, the most exotic opportunities to travel, on top of obviously having, the Rovers and the Camaros and things like that, but things that can truly create some memories for people. There's not really a price to put on it. That's the truth. This is a priceless auction. And that's just the way I feel about it. So I'm throwing that offer out there to you. Again, you have until tonight at 2 a.m. 2 a.m. my time, 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, in order to get 150% match on your credits. Whether you take advantage of it or not, it doesn't matter. Okay, that's completely up to you. But here's what I want you to understand. This is just the beginning, okay? This is truly just the beginning of where we're going. And I think it's a great segue into our next product, which is going to be our travel product that'll be rolled out very soon. And it obviously coincides with the auctions that are already there. Now, with that being said, I really appreciate y'all taking the time to come out here tonight. You could have been doing anything else. I've kept you 27 minutes. I told myself I was going to keep you 20 minutes, but I got worked up and got going here again. So I see an amazing opportunity for all of us here. I appreciate you taking the time. Thank you guys so much. And make sure you share this with your team, okay? They have until, like I said, midnight Pacific Standard Time to get that deal. We're going to continue to do the 100% match all the way through the 28th. So just keep that in mind. So listen, I appreciate it. I hope you guys have a great week. Hey, Curtis, I'm gonna answer this really quick because since Curtis put this to everybody, 8:27 p.m. When are you going to send out payments for the weeks ago? I'm still missing a payment. Hey, Curtis. 2 things. Number 1, I don't know if you got on here late. Number 2, check out the webinar on Saturday and go over that, and you'll have a complete understanding of it, okay? And if you need to hit me personally, go ahead and send me an email at james@globalcreditsnetwork.com, and I'll shoot you that link if you need it. But that's going to be the best place to get your questions answered. All right. So listen, I appreciate everybody taking the time to come out and join us. I hope everybody has an awesome night, and have a good week as well. Thank you. Bye-bye.